All right, so you've already heard that the Biden administration wants to take away your gas stove, right, because of climate change. Now the United Nations, which receives a lot of money from the United States, wants to take away your hamburger. They want to take away your hamburger, your bacon, your spare ribs, all the good stuff. They want you to, yeah, they want Americans and other industrialized countries to eat less meat, Let's bring up the story from The Messenger. They have a little video here. Listen.
A United Nations agency will call on Western countries, including the United States, to curb their appetite for beef to help reduce global greenhouse emissions at the climate summit next month in Dubai, according to a report. The UN's Food and Agriculture Organization will publish a report at the COP28 summit scheduled to begin Thursday and run to mid-December.
Oh, doesn't that meat look good? I just got to stop it for a quick. Doesn't that look good? Tasty. Look at those salamis.
Seeking countries that, quote, overconsume meat to cut back on their consumption.
We're over-consuming meat. How dare we?
Bloomberg reported. At the same time, it will advise developing countries
Cows
where the lack
taste
of meat
good.
consumption leads to nutritional problems to improve.
Look at how beautiful that is. Look at the rolling hills of that beautiful blue sky. Those tasty cows.
Livestock production. The report said that food systems generate about a third of greenhouse gas.
To equate cows with greenhouse with factories. Okay. Hello, China.
Emissions, with much of that linked to livestock farming, which produces high levels of methane, deforestation, and biodiversity loss. Danish Dinesh, the founder of Climate, a nonprofit,
look at that hamburger
that examines the link between climate and food, said, quote, livestock is politically sensitive, but we need to deal with sensitive issues to solve the problem.
Yes, we need to deal with sensitive issues to solve the problem. Why don't we talk about China and their contribution to so-called climate change, right? We don't want to talk about China. We just want to cut down on the amount of meat that Americans use or eat. Eat less meat is message for rich world in food's first net zero plan, according to Bloomberg. Food expected to be more of a focus on the COP28 summit in Dubai coming up. The world's most developed nations will be told, you're going to be told, to curb your excessive appetite for meat, as part of the first comprehensive plan to bring the global agri-food industry into line with the Paris Climate Agreement, which, of course, famously, we backed out of, as we should have. We should have never been in. The Global Food Systems Roadmap to 1.5C is expected to be published by the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization during the COP28 summit next month. Nations that overconsume. There, we've heard that twice now. Meat will be advised to limit their intake. You'll be advised. Let me tell you right here. This is 2.1 pounds of beautiful 85% lean, 15% ground beef from my cold, dead hands. Is anybody from the UN taking this from me? The only reason someone's going to take this from me is if, A, I feed it to a family member or I eat it, right? That's what's going to happen there. So, and yeah, I'm really fortunate to be able to provide that to this household. While developing countries where underconsumption of meat adds to the prevailing nutrition challenge. Okay, so get the idea. They're going to take meat from you and give it to somebody else. We'll need to improve their livestock farming according to the UN. Oh, does it make sense? Now, this is getting coverage all over the world. With Fox News has a story about it. The Yucatan Times in Mexico has a story about it. There's a story out of the Illinois Review. I mean, just big newspapers, small newspapers. United Nations targets American bacon and hamburgers in new climate control proposal. So, yeah, no more meat for you. just like that guy from Seinfeld with the soup, right? Here's another story out of the Times of India. Didn't format all that well. UN agency urges Western nations, including U.S., to curb meat consumption for climate control goals. It's all to save the planet. It's all this. Don't you understand? You're eating too much meat. Now, I stopped and wondered who could be behind all of this. And fortunately for us, we have an answer. Fortunately for us, we have an answer. And if you had China as your number one guess of who could be behind it, you were right. Thankfully, the Washington Free Bacon is out today with the story about the guy that runs this UN operation that wants us to stop eating hamburgers and hot dogs and all that. I actually had a hot dog for lunch. It was lovely. Quo Don, no, I'm going to torture this guy's name. So the Chinese official uses the UN's food program to promote Chinese interest, a report found. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that a Chinese official who runs a UN program would be using that for the benefit of China. I'm shocked and outraged. I can't believe that. Well, actually, I'm not shocked, but I am outraged. Let's scroll down. Here's the guy here that runs this program over at the United Nations, and he happens to be a top Communist Party official, known for using the agency to serve Beijing. What a shocker. Thank you, by the way, all credit here to Megan Blonder. Is that the name? Megan Blonder, who wrote this at the Washington Free Beacon. The UN Food and Agriculture Program, which counts the Chinese official as its director, is set to release a plan next month that calls upon most of the world's developed nations to fight climate change by curbing their excessive appetite for meat, Bloomberg reported, like we just talked to you about. For years, he has served as the Communist Chinese Party Vice Minister for Agriculture and Rural Affairs and was first elected to the UN Food Agency in 2019, thanks to aggressive support from China. So this should not be a huge shock to us. Why would China want us to consume less meat? Or ask a more sophisticated question, why would China want us to be talking about U.S. meat consumption rather than talking about their contributions to climate change, assuming that, A, you believed climate change? Why would we be talking about their contributions? We should really be talking about our contributions. Basically, the whole Chinese game is to make us feel guilty about what we're doing in quotes, so that we cripple our economy and cripple our country. And so that they get stronger based upon basically our own self-inflicted pain because we hate our, right? This is a whole psyops to gin up hate for ourselves as Americans and to weaken our own country. Understand, like, the big picture here. And this is just another quiver that they have, effectively. The Q-led initiative, I guess that's how you pronounce this last name. Forgive me if I get it wrong. Initiative to limit meat consumption in wealthy nations comes as China uses climate change to influence U.S. energy policy and to cozy up to American politicians. So it didn't take me long to find this guy Q cozying up to not a politician in this case, but effectively a politician at an American university here at Mississippi State University. Here's the president of Mississippi State, just last month, having a ceremony photo with this guy Q. He's the director of General Food and Agriculture Organization, UN, just like we talked about. So there's a lovely story here from Mississippi State about how they're teaming up with the UN agency. Now, when you scroll down to the very bottom of this article here, you will realize that this is actually, I'm going to highlight here and scroll down for you. You'll realize that actually this is also basically a partnership between the Biden administration and China. Because Joe Biden last year announced it would funnel $120 million to the agency to support climate resistance. He will be, this guy Q from China will be head of the organization until 2027. He ran unopposed for a second term earlier this year. His 2019 win was more controversial, with China facing allegations of bribing former officials to garner support for him. So does any of this be surprising? But we need to be aware of it. Yes, and it makes a great headline. Yes, it may be clickbait for a video. Thank you for watching. But also understand the bigger play here. The bigger play here is for China to gin up all sorts of guilt about how we run our country so that we change our country in a way that makes us weaker and China stronger. That is the play. It's all a giant psyop. All right, I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack, broadcasting to you from beautiful Plymouth, America's hometown in Massachusetts. Have a great day.